Granny was a burn blower and a blood stopper. If you got burned, she could just blow on it and it would not be burned anymore. She'd blow the fire out of it. And she could say a Bible verse and hold her hand out and stop blood. And they would bring her, women were having babies, she'd come to their birthing beds in case they hemorrhaged so she could stop the bleeding. And everything was full of wonder as a child. Now, when I grew up down in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina, and I grew up in a holler. And my granny and papa's house was at the mouth of the holler. And my aunts and uncles and cousins' houses were strung up and down the holler. And we were at the very head of the holler. And Granny would stand on her front porch and she'd look up and she'd say, "You see all those houses? All those people?" She said, "That is my string of pearls." There's a saying I heard growing up, the further up the holler you go, the meaner they get. And my house, where I lived with my mommy and daddy and my brothers and sister, was at the very last of the holler, the very head of the holler. And up behind us, stretching up and up and up and up and up, all the way up to Klingman's Dome, which is about 7,000 feet tall. It's not a small mountain. And up in those mountains, in an old holler log, there lived this old woman. And my granny would tell me about her. And her name was Becky Booger. If I ever was naughty, Granny would say, "You better straighten up or I'm going to send you up there on the mountain. Let you live with Becky Booger. You can just be her little girl." So I thought about Becky Booger. And the grown-ups didn't know it, but I wanted to be Becky Booger. Or at least maybe Becky Booger's little girl. And let my hair grow all long and tangled, not have to brush it, not have to take a bath, get to run wild and barefoot all day, every day, and sleep at night, all curled up in an old holler log. Granny wouldn't even let me say that name, Becky Booger. She could say it, but I couldn't. So I'm going to say it now, because I'm going to conjure her up. Becky Booger, Becky Booger, Becky Booger. Thank you for watching over me all those years. I grew up in a storytelling family, and we just talked and shared stories all the time. And then when I went to school, I learned that you better not be talking all the time and sit down and shut up. So I learned to prop my books up and draw the stories that were in my head. And I would just sit all day and draw. I ended up just deciding I wanted to do what I had to do, which was paint. So I studied painting. And then I ended up coming to Appalshop as a filmmaker, falling in with an amazing group of artists there. And that's when it took me a long time to get to be able to tell a story on the stage. I was very shy. I had used the canvas and a camera and to be behind, but to be out front and to tell stories was terrifying to me. I had like this epiphany at one point where I was on stage in, I think, St. Petersburg, Florida with Roadside, and I was just mumbling through my part. And then suddenly I had like this is going to sound bizarre, but it's the way I remember it. This ball of light came, and it's like I became hollow, and a voice said, and it was my granny's voice, because, Granny was a hands-on healer, and I would say something to Granny. I would say, "Granny, your hands," and she'd go, "Oh, no, not me, not from me, through me." So on stage there, I realized that the stories were not coming from me, they were coming through me. And that there were people who needed to hear these stories, and that I represented a culture where many voices were not being heard, and that it was really important for me to get out of the way and let things come through me and not from me, and let my ego just go away, or whatever happens, where it take a break, whatever it needed to do to let this happen. So I told stories for years, and then I came back to painting. This one's pretty, isn't it? Look at the colors in that one. When I was little, it took me forever to learn how to ride a tricycle, And I would dream that I was at the head of the stairs, and I would go down the stairs on that tricycle. So this is a painting of a little girl on a tricycle, but she has wings, so she can go anywhere she wants to. I love being up here. I love being able to just hide out and paint and look around and drink the good cold spring water that comes right into our house from the spring behind it up on the mountain. The amazing earth of Appalachia. I've just never felt the richness anywhere, and I love the ocean. I love the prairie. But there's something about the diversity of the Appalachian world. I think it's reflected in our speech and our visions, but there's something about it that's sacred about these mountains. The painting and the stories were all just kind of mushed in there together. It's all one experience. And I kind of feel like storytelling and painting, I see life goes along like this. It's just like this straight line. It's just like life is a series of events. But if you can paint, or if you can do something expressive, then there's all these side roads that you can take and find the beauty there. There's no end to it of things that you can discover along the way, and it doesn't have to be a narrow, straightforward progression. Life doesn't have to be. It can be an amazing, wandering dance of expression and wonderment, and it is wonder. I'm full of wonderment every day. Well, it's right in your face every minute. You can't, to me, I can't get away from it. So yes, mystical, yeah. Just the mystery of the world. When you're quiet and you're surrounded by it, you're going to notice it, Maybe. Try to. It's a miracle. Every moment is a miracle.